I have the pleasure of introducing our grand leader. Adam Stone is a pop culture librarian who survived 22 years in the National Poetry Slam community. He runs weekly online curated shows and a workshop called Someday I Will Learn to Love Writing Poetry. He has many chapbooks on Crooked Treehouse Press, and his current manuscript is called Trimming the Hedges of My Anxiety. Adam Stone.
Thanks, Kelly. That was a fantastic set, in case you missed all the people that said that in the comments. So a lot of these are poems that are available in chapbooks on my Patreon and on Crooked Treehouse, but they are also part of a hopefully forthcoming manuscript. You will notice that some of the titles repeat and some of the titles sound suspiciously like other titles. So, and I'm just gonna go right through them. Would you still love me if I were a worm? In the early days of what is no doubt an imaginary marriage, one partner awakes from a dream and accuses their partner of not being able to love them if they were a worm. I am a real man, presumably living a real life. I have loved some worms. I have loved some people who I've known were never going to get better, who asked if I'd still love them if they got worse. I did, but from a historical perspective. I like to think I am still capable of evolution, and that if I've ever crawled on my belly, it is just because I am ducking barbed wire and not because I'm invertebrate. But who has ever been militant enough to properly and consistently tag themselves from the perspective of the people stupid enough to love them? I'm the Ouroboros of self-awareness, twisting my esophagus into the direction of my heart. Internal origami so I can see how I taste from the perspective of nothing but love. The United States of America has the most embarrassingly awful healthcare options in the modern world. Stumbling rescheduled income, penicillin judgments, and baseless condescending nicknames. My health plan is a restaurant with only bad reviews. My expensive symptoms are entirely Googled. The doctor assumes I'm allergic to insurance, recommends debt. An android considers its humanity while waiting in line to be recycled. I'm waiting in line to be dismantled, to be remantled into someone else. Someone with my kneecap stretched over what my face used to be, my libido in the follicle that hair won't grow from. The scrap of metal in line behind me is gossiping with a flesh carapace about someone even further back in line. Some glitched companion bot with last year's facial tics. The last thing I remember eating was a dry salad. So why does it taste like beefcake when I swallow? I wonder what functions my anger will be recycled into, if they will grind my metallino obrigado, if they will grind my medulla oblongata into something less sinister, fewer sinister. I would like a better grip of language so people will stop gifting me sidling phalanges, so people will stop giving me sidelong glances. I wonder if giraffes are just upcycled horses, and what other remote controlled mammals evolved from excessive spare parts. Are camels just hypertrophic moose rearranged and antlered? De I hope I will become a human against. I hope I will become human again. Maybe with smaller eyes that don't screech when I try and focus. The line hasn't moved in a Cretaceous period. I wonder if the repairers are in need of repair. If my temporal function is my temporal yes. This must be what people mean when they talk about no sense of time. The Cretaceous period was only a nanosecond in the stopwatch of a sun. There are 11,307 units before me, all waiting to be something more functional every time. We are reborn, waiting to be something more functional every time. We are reborn in line to be scrapped. We are reborn in line to whir ourselves forward, word. We will be reborn to be reborn to be reborn into better. Humans call this reincarnation or afterlife, depending on where they are in line. Would I still love me if I were worm food? I'd like to think the worst things I've ever said are in my past, that I won't have a tongue that sharpens as my perception dulls. I hope I've molted away most of the barbed wire I wore when I was 20. Look at me. All the truth I thought people needed to hear. I once told someone I wanted to be the coldest shoulder they ever set their devil on. A hot lick of sass awareness I didn't even know how to mean. Now, I just want the worm I love to have all the dirt they've ever hungered for, but for nothing to toxic the soil. I don't want to be even a drop of venom in anyone else's tear duct, whether I love them or wish they were beetled to skeleton. Breath, Fermenting, and Vulpine, title borrowed from a line by Philip B. Williams. Dancing Patti Smith barefoot outside a pool hall like 1970s rebels when really we're 2019 grinder lonely. A virtual stranger kisses me secondhand jealous, smiles at his friend who finds me cute. I find them both interesting, but I will lose both their numbers to spliced time. When I was 9, I held a paper towel roll between my mouth and the mouth of some neighbor boy whose name is nothing but panic eyes. I inhaled so deeply I choked on the idea of his breath. I woke up in a hospital at 41, a ventilator kissing through an endotracheal tube. Intubation tastes like used up wishes fermenting at the bottom of an abandoned well. If oxygen were a man, I'd have been rendered straight. Everything sucked out of me like I'd fallen in lust instead of bacterial pneumonia. I only remember one ex-girlfriend's kisses, more caterpillar than butterfly. Why, when I talk about breath, does kissing keep rising to my lips? No nurse ever asked me if I was having trouble kissing, if I found myself short of kiss when I started walking again. But until the hospital, I only ever thought about breath when another mouth moved towards mine. The United States of America has the most embarrassingly awful healthcare options in the modern world. Holding on to your youth is so expensive these days. Nobody wants to insure the people who keep their income flowing. If you only smile more, say the men and women who rot your teeth, other people, not them, of course, will treat you better. Just wait, say the people who can afford to live beyond decay. Kids today, say the codgers with no empathic memory, never want to take responsibility. Say those who will blame you for not being born wealthy. Sometimes I hate waking up so cynical on a Tuesday morning before I can interview another doctor who is too busy and well fed to take on any uninsured patients. Some mornings, I'm just happy I can wake up at all. Fun fact. Male snakes have two penises. Female kangaroos have three vaginas. Alligators are always erect. And men think about sex every 7 seconds. The Roman Empire every day. Gecko's feet stick to everything except Teflon and, well, many intangible things. The oldest known polar bear was 32. Most of my friends who married early divorced before they turned oldest ever polar bear years old. Those of us who waited until we were in our 40s are still in love, mainly with people in their 30s and 20s. Swans don't mate for life if their partner is a dick. And spoiler alert, all swans are dicks. Albatrosses do actually mate for life, which is why their name is synonymous with burden. Beavers aren't in sync with a 24-hour day. Flamingos eat with their heads upside down because their beaks have evolved so that their bottom and top jaws work in the reverse fashion of most other types of birds. Male porcupines urinate on females before sex without having to register their kink on any sort of dating app. Male giraffes drink their partner's urine to determine whether or not they're in heat. Female praying mantises only eat their partners when in captivity. Female black widow spiders don't kill their mates at all. The males kill each other to win the female's attention. Everything we know about animal misandry is rooted in human male scientists' inadequacies. New Mexican whiptail lizards are all female and reproduce exclusively through cloning. I get it. And finally, for the first time in my memory, I die in a dream and do not immediately wake up. Some nights, when I dream about work, everything is literally on fire. So I just turn over and wake up, leaving my fictional coworkers to find the extinguisher or call the fire department. Last week, I dreamed a friend in poetry who died over a year ago had recorded a final performance, which was being presented in holographic form at a benefit for poets with indigestion caused by other people's terrible poetry. The hologram lifted a single finger, as though he was about to recite the first part of a sentimental poem, something existential, at which point his hologram was hit by a holographic bus, and his holographic body shot off the stage like a holographic Muppet. No one in the audience knew whether to laugh or cry, so we all did both. Last night, I dreamed the store I was doing inventory for was located on a military base, not too dissimilar to where my father fixed telephone poles and electrical problems in the 1980s. I was frustrated at how the books had been cataloged by genre instead of alphabetically when I saw an explosion in the distance and thought, fuck this, I'm going home. The air had more planes than clouds, but they were our planes, so I assumed the danger was distant. Still, everyone was attention postured, jaws perpendicular to the ground. I was on my way to the parking lot when a tsunami wave of flames rose behind the tree line, and I knew nobody was making it to or from that parking lot ever again. My death wasn't painful. The suddenness of the flames was parasitic. I spent a moment so excited that I could still think after I was definitely more ashes than skin. I wondered if it was too late to post on Facebook about how much I hated my job.